Hello everyone. Now all will open the book, lesson number 2, The Age of Revolutions. As we had discussed previously about this lesson, The Age of Revolutions, yesterday we had discussed Introduction of Revolutions, the American Revolution, and the 13 British colonies. Now before starting up with the new topic, let us recall some important terms in the cross questions. Now first of all, define the following: revolution, colonies, democracy, monarchy, republic, Puritans. And the important cross questions related to the previous topic: what is the other name of the American Revolution? Who discovered America and when? Which countries started establishing their colonies in America? In which part of America were the British colonies established? Name the first British colony to be established in America. Now, in today's class, we are going to discuss the causes of American Revolution. Now, basically, the roots of the American Revolution can be traced to the year 1763, when the British leaders began to tighten imperial reins. Due to the certain economic and political measures, the relations between the Britain and the colonies became increasingly tense. So, the main causes of the American Revolution: number 1, problems with the administrative system; second, restrictions and exploitation of colonies; third, ban on expansion of colonies; and the fourth, imposition of new taxes. Now, first of all, we are going to discuss the first cause, that is problems with the administrative system. Now all will come to page number 25 of the book. Here are the causes. The first, problems with the administrative system. Basically, at that time, each colony had an assembly, and the members of the assemblies were elected by the people of the colonies. These colonies were headed by a governor who was appointed by the British government. The governor was not responsible to the people of the colony. He worked to look after the interest of England. Now let us start up with the reading. The British Parliament. Parliament, you all know, the lawmaking body, administered these American colonies. Each colony had a governor. Now here the term comes, governor. Governor is a person who rules or controls a region or a state. Right. Now next. And a local council. The governor was appointed by the British government. The local council was elected by the residents of each colony. Residents means people living in a particular place, or you can say people residing in an area. And word council here means an advisory body of a people formally constituted and meeting regularly. Now the next. However, all important matters were directly dealt with the British government. There were often clashes means conflicts, between the local council and the governor. The governor tried to promote the British interest, whereas the local council worked to protect the interest of the colonist. Promote here means increase, and the duty of the local council was to protect the interest of the colonist. The word colonist means the people living in the British colonies of America. The colonists wanted the right to make laws according to their needs. So they started opposing the British government's claim. Claim here means the demand of the right to enact the laws. Enact means execute the laws. Execute. And laws means principles, or in Hindi we call it Kanun. And impose the taxes on them. Now here word taxes. Taxes is again an important term. taxes means money paid by the people to the government. You can see from here also, money paid by the people to the government, that is known as taxes. Now, this was the first cause of the American Revolution. Now, let us discuss the next cause. Second cause is restrictions in exploitation of colonies. Restrictions, you can say limitations, and exploitation means treat someone unfairly for own benefit. Now, restrictions and exploitation of colonies. At that time, the colonial policy of England in economic matters was the primary or main cause of resentment in American colonies. Each colony had a local assembly to frame the laws regarding the local matters. And the English government imposed the laws which went against the economic interest of the colonies. At that time, America was looked upon as a market and a source of raw materials. It was laid that the sugar, tobacco, cotton, indigo, etc. could only be exported to England. Now let us discuss this point. The colonies were subjected to several political restrictions and exploitation. They could not establish relations amongst themselves without the permission of the British government. They could not manufacture paper, steel, and woolen garments on their own. They were forced to import all these items from England. Import here means goods or the articles brought in from abroad or any other country for sale. And these restrictions caused anger among the colonists. And the word colonists, the term here is colonist. Colonist again means the people living in the British colonies of America. Now the next, third cause. Third cause is ban on expansion of colonies. Ban means protest, or you can say prohibition on expansion. Expansion means growth of the colonies. The colonies expanded themselves by defeating the Native Americans. Native Americans means the original inhabitants of America in various wars. They wanted to expand to west. However, King George III of England did not allow them to do so. He wanted to avoid more wars. He himself was interested in direct trade with Native Americans. This led to outrage among the colonists. Outrage means strong reaction of anger. Now, the next cause of the American Revolution was imposition of new taxes. Now, before reading, let us discuss this point. At that time, 7 years war was fought between England and France in America. And during the 7 years wars, England had spent a lot of money on the defense of her colonies, so it wanted to impose more taxes now on the colonies. But the colonies refused to share the burden. So this was the reason the taxes were imposed. Now, the main taxes which were imposed were, first one was Sugar Act, and the second one was Stamp Act. These two acts were passed by the British Parliament. Now let us begin up with the reading. The British government was involved in several wars, either in the local wars with the colonists or otherwise. It needed money to fund these wars. This money was raised by imposing the new taxes on every occasion. Now, as I have earlier told, the new taxes were imposed. Now, The first one was the Sugar Act. Basically, the Sugar Act was passed in 1764 and it was passed by the British Parliament. And this act was passed to ban the import of molasses from overseas countries except England. Now, molasses here means thick, dark brown juice obtained from raw sugar during the refining process. So, the Sugar Act banned the import of molasses from overseas countries except England. Taxes were imposed on wine, silk, coffee, and other articles of luxury also. Now, the local traders could neither buy sugar at the cheap rate nor obtain molasses to make rum. So, this was one of the main act. And here the word act means, come to your page number 24. At the top of the lesson, the first define is given of act. Any law passed by the Parliament, that is termed as act. And the other important act that was passed by the British Parliament was the Sugar Act. First of all, we had discussed. Now the second is Stamp Act. The Stamp Act was passed in 1765 and it was again passed by the British Parliament and it was imposed on all the American colonists, and there was a tax on every piece of printed paper like ship's papers, legal documents, licenses, newspapers, other publications, and even on the playing cards. These all legal documents were taxed. The money collected by the stamp tax was to be used to help pay the cost of defending and protecting the American frontiers near the Appalachian Mountains. Now, let us begin up with the reading. In 1764, the British Parliament passed the Sugar Act. It imposed a tax on sugar imports. And in 1765, the Stamp Act was passed. It made bearing of revenue. Bearing means tolerating and revenue means tax. Revenue stamp compulsory on all the legal documents. Legal documents means the official writings, the official papers. This time, the colonists refused to pay the tax. Refused means denied. They denied to pay the taxes. They protested that the British Parliament did not have the right to charge any tax as the colonies had no representation in the British Parliament. The leaders of the Massachusetts colony mobilized the representatives of the other colonies against these laws. And this is known as Massachusetts Assembly. The slogan, "No taxation without representation," was given here. And it is the most important slogan of the American Revolution. In this manner, the people from the American colonies stood united and ultimately they forced the British government to withdraw the Stamp Act. Withdraw here means to remove or to take something away. Now I hope up to the causes, the things are clear to you. Now your today's homework is to revise till here, plus to solve the related back exercises and to do this quick revision that is given on page number 26.